Okay, 7 minute, 180 lit. Mr. President, this is not the end of the unfunded mandates debate. It really is the beginning. In the upcoming months, we will have the opportunity to reform the Safe Drinking Water Act, the Superfund law, and other environmental laws. In each case, we will have the opportunity to give states more flexibility and reduce unfunded mandates while maintaining protection of public health. If we do so, we will build on the progress we are making in this unfunded mandates bill and do even more to strengthen the partnership between the federal and state governments. Finally, Mr. President, I wish to compliment the leadership of the Governmental Affairs Committee, Senators Roth and Glenn, for their work on this bill. Senators Roth and Glenn have stood on this floor for 2 weeks. Their thoughtfulness, candor, and fairness are noted and appreciated. Senator Levin is also to be strongly commended for his insightful and determined efforts to improve this bill. I also wish to compliment the majority manager and prime sponsor of the bill, Senator Kempthorne. For the past 2 years, Senator Kempthorne and I have worked together as members of the Environment and Public Works Committee. We've dealt with some thorny issues. Sometimes we've disagreed, but Senator Kempthorne has always been thoughtful, diligent, and willing to consider other points of view in order to make progress. He's taken the same approach here, and the result is a solid bill that will improve our consideration of environmental and other laws. When the Articles of Confederation were conceived more than 2 centuries ago, the states were to be sovereign and independent. 7 years later, the Constitution was ratified as an antidote to the decentralized and weak national government established by the Articles. The Constitution strengthened the responsibility and authority of the national government and recognized the federal government's unique role in defining and protecting the basic rights and interests of citizens in all states. For over 200 years, the expansion of commerce, the advent of wars, the growth of a sense of national character, and the surge of information and technology have considerably altered the responsibilities of government at each level. We have grown and prospered as a nation because our Constitution created a government capable of withstanding such dramatic developments and changes. I believe that a discussion of federalism is long overdue, but I am not concerned with the direction of our current debate. I understand well the concerns of my state and local colleagues who are outraged over the proliferation of federal mandates and regulations, and I understand well their frustration over the federal government's shifting of a substantial share of the cost of providing basic services to more local units of government. I am concerned, however, that we are moving further away from the notion of partnership and shared responsibility in this debate. When the city of Houston seeks funding for a new sewer system, or the city of Detroit seeks money for improvements to its transit system, who do they come to for help? They come to us. They come to the federal government because they believe that there is a national role in assisting them to serve their citizens. And they come to us because they believe that we have deep pockets. And while we sometimes ask them to pay some of the costs, we do our best to help. We too recognize that there is a national interest in providing these services. We are willing to share some of the financial burden. Now we come to our present debate. The underlying message of this bill is that the federal government should only ask something of our state and local counterparts if it is willing to pay 100% of the cost. A point of order can be waived, but it can be raised on almost any bill. with intergovernmental costs. The message is the national government should not ask or expect states and localities to share a portion of these costs. This is not an approach recommending shared responsibility. It is an approach that could cripple interdependence. The national, state, and local governments are not independent entities with their own unique set of constituents. They are interdependent units of government attempting to address similar problems with overlapping constituencies, the American people. We must not lose sight of this fact, nor should we lose sight of the importance of some of the mandates we are discussing today. Let's put this in some perspective. According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, here's a sampling of legislation it considers mandates: the Civil Rights Act, clean air, clean water, and safe drinking water; the Drug-Free Schools and Community Act, college work study, student loan reform, child support enforcement, and child nutrition legislation. Surely we can all agree that the goals of these acts are important and national in scope. We can also agree that they have an important intergovernmental impact and benefit. The National Conference of State Legislatures' definition of a mandate is broader than this bill's, but I am concerned that they and others will seek to expand the definition of an unfunded mandate to include every important social, environmental, and labor law that is not fully funded by the federal government. This would grossly undermine the importance of these programs and jeopardize the protections afforded to all Americans, and it would disable our intergovernmental partnership.